guys. We are waking up. Still wrapped up like a cocoon in my sleeping bag. This thing's pretty warm to sleep in. It's all to get up, get dressed, go get unloaded, and head down to Tennessee. Gotta help the old man, probably. Had to put a smoke tarp on his load yesterday. He don't do tarps very well. I'd like it to be halfway rolled up, decent ones put back in my box. Well, enough truck is parked here overnight and no parking spots. We didn't get run out of here. Used to hear stories from the old outlaws. You know, we'd load at 6 p.m. out in New York City, be out in Liberal, Kansas loading beef. 6 a.m. the next day. Not here. I stayed overnight at a truck stop that had no overnight parking signs. We's outlaws now. St. Louis Coal Drawn. Place up there. Anybody ever load there? I have. I used to load there. So they've upgraded the facility a lot. Matter of fact, used to not have the big tall building that you can see from down here at the Quick Trip. But they've upgraded the facility a lot to accommodate 48-foot trailers and longer wheelbase trucks. Used to at the back end, I think there was 3 or 4 doors you used to at the back end too, but you only had roughly 40 feet in between the buildings to get into these doors. Like I said, 48-foot trailer with a 265-inch wheelbase truck, which, 70 feet of truck and trailer if you straighten out. It was a little bit of a challenge. Old man's going in and get his coffee. Must be getting ready to get motivated. Too hot for coffee for me now, so we're drinking Mountain Dew. Let's get the tarp off the old man's and the ours. We're ready for unloading. Well, we better help the old man again. He had almost all the straps on the load. I think the old man's ready to get back into Conestoga. I don't think he enjoys flatbed work anymore. Like I said, cushy Conestoga life, no tarps, throw your straps and go. Nah, James Hardy siding. I don't miss hauling that stuff. We're empty. We're gonna head down to Tennessee, get loaded, and head back to Chicago. The old man's already heading home, so we're gonna run solo this one. They got us some fish, a burrito, one of these candy apple. There you go. First heard this song, I thought it was about fishing. Now I'm older and a little wiser. I realized it wasn't about fishing. Damn it. Me and my son are here. And a bunch more junk. That ain't going nowhere. Time to go to Chicago now. We finally made it to Chicago. Jump out and do a quick walk around and park out the road up here where I'm delivering at. I was going to stop at Piatone at the truck stop there and decided I'll go up to the Resteria, and pulled in there, and that place was completely full. Guys are parking to the point where you couldn't get into parking spots anyway, but I don't like making my own parking spots if I can avoid it. So my next option was to come and park out here in the street. I kind of have a message towards the FMCSA, you know, your transportation boards that are listening to people like the ATA that are pushing for speed limiters, and you know, they've pushed for the electronic logs, and they're also pushing for, you know, more safety features on trucks, like automatic braking systems and stuff like that. How about you increase the standards of the drivers? The real issue isn't the trucks. It isn't the hours of service. It's the drivers. How about we increase the standards, for, you know, the minimal standards for the drivers, so we actually have drivers that, you know why you don't need a tailgate. They need to know how to drive in the snow, you know, how to drive mountain passes in general. Why can't we increase the standards? Have guys that know how to actually check their brakes, that actually know what they're looking at. I know you can look and point during the CDL test, you know, during a pre-trip section, but you don't have to actually touch what you're looking at. You just got to point in that general direction and rattle off some numbers. How about we increase the standards? Simple message. My dinner's done, so I guess that means we're going to eat dinner. These are actually really good. They're little T-chop steaks. The mashed potatoes are actually really good for a TV dinner. They're made by Nighthawk. I'll get them at Walmart. I'm not paid by them, but you know, for what they are, there could be more food there, but they're really good. So the plan is tomorrow, go get unloaded, and then go over get reloaded. Hopefully I can get out of there in time. Right now the cards aren't really in my favor, in the sense that we know about the load. We were told we got the load, but the load hasn't been released yet. You know, we were told it's going to be released, so we don't have confirmation on the load. So I'm going to go get unloaded in the morning, hopefully hear from the shipper before I get over there, and hopefully get the confirmation before I get loaded, because who knows what could happen. But if I can get loaded and get on the road, I can probably deliver tomorrow, get reloaded and go home. But that's kind of the plan for tomorrow. Tonight, we're going to eat our dinner after it cools down a minute, and go to bed and get up in the morning and do it all over again. So y'all stay safe out there. God bless you. And keep the shiny side up.